Well, sounds like you have a pretty good life.
Thanks. Thank you.
So what kind of man are you looking for? Heather?
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
You're looking at live pictures from Westchester County, New York, where driving is tricky tonight, and the same will be true tomorrow morning across the Northeast. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Janetta Jones, live in the Forecast Center, where we are tracking this winter storm, and it is in quite a few areas. Let me tell you how things are going right now. As we look at our current surface map, we have some heavy snowfall in parts of New York State on into northern New England. We've seen some incredibly cold air coming down out of Canada, and at the same time, we've seen a lot of moisture and warm air coming up north out of the Gulf of Mexico. All of this is converging in this particular region, and we're getting some freezing rain, some sleet, and some snow, and it's not a pretty picture for a lot of folks. By the end of tonight and into tomorrow morning, some folks are going to be looking at a major ice storm, a major ice event. Other folks, a major snowstorm, and still others will see it changing over to rain, believe it or not, by tomorrow around noontime. We have some pictures for you out of Tarrytown, New York. Clearing snow has been a chore for many of you, and you've had snow mixing with sleet, and we expect it to get worse overnight as freezing rain begins to fall. No doubt that will ice up your morning commute in the northwest suburbs of New York City. And to get the latest conditions out of that particular region, we have a crew standing by. Mike Seidel is there in Westchester County in New York. Mike, can you tell us if conditions have changed since half an hour ago?
No, Janetta, no change so far. Temperatures stay in the mid-teens, and we've had on and off light snow throughout the day. Now, last night and this morning, we had some freezing rain and sleet, but it's been snow throughout the day here, several inches on the ground. We're here at the foot of the Tappan Zee Bridge in Westchester County. The rush hour is now on the decline, and the combination of the salt and the sanding and all the scraping, plus all the traffic through mid and late afternoon has left the roadway here leading up to the span wet, but not icy. But tonight, with temperatures still very cold and the traffic backing off, we're going to see a lot of the secondary roads and maybe even some of these roads start to ice over. The other problem we have coming up is the fact that the warmer air will start to move in the cloud levels, so the snow will eventually change over to freezing rain probably after midnight. And then out here in the suburbs, it's going to take a while to get that warm air in at the surface from the coast, where we're going to get the influence of the Atlantic. So look for mid to late morning tomorrow before the freezing rain changes over to rain. That's a long time with some ice or freezing rain, so that's going to stick to the power lines and trees. We could have some power outages. Another problem is with the warming and the snow melting and the potential for some heavier rainfalls, especially in and around New York City proper and out on the island. There will be a significant runoff. The ground's frozen. The snow may be blocking some of the storm drains, so we may have some urban flooding in some areas. We'll have to take a look at that, urban and street flooding. And there is a flash flood watch posted by the Weather Service just in case there are some problems. The best news, though, is all the snow and the rain will help to fill up the reservoirs. In case you didn't know, there's been a terrible drought in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic since last summer. Very, very dry weather, so the silver lining here is anything that does fall helps the reservoirs and the water supply. Janetta, as far as the weather's concerned here, it eventually will warm up, but again, midday tomorrow, we think at best before it gets above freezing and before we see any melting here in Westchester County. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Mike Seidel reporting live from Westchester County in New York. We'll check back with him a little later on this evening. I'm joined now by our winter weather specialist, Paul Kosin. Paul has been tracking this all day long, and you'll be with us through tonight and into tomorrow morning when things are going to get really tricky with this storm.
Right, I've been a busy boy, and for good reason. High pressure still over eastern Canada is still remarkably strong. It's holding on and sending cold air down across the northeastern United States. The major player for the weather the past day, and it's probably going to continue to be the major player, is this flow of cold air basically down just west of the eastern seaboard, all the way from Maine through New York, Pennsylvania, through Virginia, and the edge of that cold air has already made it through northern North Carolina. What we're expecting is that we've had an initial area of snowfall across the northeast that's sort of wrapping up and moving to the northeastward. Although it's not ending, it is diminishing in impact, even though there's still some moderate and heavy snowfall. What we're really concerned with is the evolution of another area of snow and rain and freezing rain, now currently going on through the Ohio Valley, through the Appalachians. We can see this area on the satellite, on the radar imagery, as something that's moving together and merging together to produce what will be the last in the sequence of storms that ultimately will develop across North Carolina. This particular low will then go to the northeast, and what we were talking about was this particular area right in here, and there's the merger of these two airstreams, one airstream here, another of this moist flow heading up to the north, and there's only light snow occurring through Ohio, but now we're seeing the development of darker greens, and that's indicative of heavier precipitation in the form of freezing rain across eastern Kentucky and eastern Ohio. That's the precipitation that will probably force most of the activity to again increase across much of the eastern United States with freezing rain, sleet, and snow. The good news is that the precipitation looks like it finally will be ending tomorrow. The bad news is that there's going to be quite a period of very inclement weather, especially across the major cities tonight, that hopefully will change to freezing rain and then to rain as we get towards morning. But we're still a little nervous in the Washington area. Well, first let me start off with New England. Here we're talking about...
Stocking up on office supplies can